This is Lake Atitlán, Guatemala, a volcanic marvel known for its breathtaking beauty and spiritual serenity. In October 2023, this idyllic setting became the backdrop for a tragedy that would leave a family shattered and a community searching for answers. Nancy Inc., a vibrant 29-year-old teacher's aide from Monterey Park, California, embarked on a solo trip to Guatemala seeking a haven of relaxation and rejuvenation. A passionate yogi with a thirst for adventure, Nancy was drawn to the growing trend of yoga retreats, promising a chance to disconnect from the daily grind and reconnect with her inner self. For 4 years, yoga had been her sanctuary, a place to find peace and inner strength. This passion led her to book a second trip to Guatemala for a yoga retreat called Be the Change. Having participated in the retreat the previous year, Nancy was excited to return. She eagerly shared her enthusiasm with her sister, Nikki Inc. "Nancy's the first thing I think about in the morning," Nikki confided. "The last thing I think about before bed." Nancy's positive energy was infectious, and Nikki admired her outgoing spirit. This retreat was a chance for Nancy to unwind and reconnect with herself amidst the breathtaking beauty of Guatemala. On October 14th, 2023, she arrived in Guatemala, letting her family know she'd landed safely and would be putting her phone on airplane mode to fully immerse herself in the experience. The Be the Change retreat was idyllic. Nestled against a backdrop of volcanic peaks, the retreat promised a transformative experience through yoga sessions, meditation, and cultural immersion. The group, consisting of 12 attendees, quickly bonded over their shared love for yoga and exploration. Nancy, with her infectious smile and easygoing nature, quickly formed a connection with some of the other participants. One such participant was Christina Blazek. While details about Christina remained somewhat limited, she shared Nancy's passion for yoga and the serenity of the retreat. Little did anyone know, their paths would converge in a way that would forever alter their lives. LA yoga instructor Eduardo Ramada, who organized the trip, planned various activities throughout the retreat. One such activity was scheduled for the last full day. It was a kayaking trip on the vast and often unpredictable waters of Lake Atitlán. The excitement was palpable as the group prepared for the kayaking trip. However, a dark cloud loomed over the upcoming adventure, a detail that would come to light later. According to some participants, the kayak company, Kayak Guatemala, did not offer life jackets or provide any safety instructions. This claim contradicted what the company owners, Lee and Elaine Beale, would later tell the media. On October 19, 2023, the group arrived at the shores of Lake Atitlán, eager to explore its vastness. The morning sun cast a warm glow on the water, creating a picture-perfect scene. The group rented kayaks and paddleboards, their chatter filled with anticipation. As they paddled out, the tranquility of the lake was mesmerizing. Nancy, a confident swimmer, seemed at ease navigating her kayak. The breathtaking scenery captivated the group, and for a while, all worries seemed to melt away. While the prospect of gliding across the crystal-clear surface undoubtedly held an element of allure, Nancy's family later revealed they were deeply troubled by the lack of life jackets provided by the retreat organizers. Their concerns, unfortunately, would become a haunting foreshadowing of events to come. An hour into the kayaking trip, the idyllic scene began to shift. According to a participant who remained anonymous, the group reached a point where the water's color deepened dramatically, turning a dark, ominous black. This unsettling change, coupled with the increasing wind and choppy waves, caused some unease within the group. The anonymous participant admitted feeling hesitant to venture further and voiced their concern about the lack of life jackets. However, their concerns seemed to fall on deaf ears. The kayak company employees, they claimed, showed no alarm and offered no additional instructions. Meanwhile, Nancy paddled further out, seemingly captivated by the view. This would be the last time the participant would see her friend alive. Among the participants was Christina Blazek. As the wind picked up and the water became rougher, Blazek decided to head back towards shore. During her return journey, she crossed paths with Nancy in the middle of the lake, near the area where the water took on its dark hue. According to Blazek's attorney, Christopher Gardner, the two women chatted briefly. Blazek, concerned about the worsening conditions, reportedly warned Nancy against going for a swim. However, Nancy disregarded the warning and jumped into the water without a life jacket. Blazek claims she watched as Nancy slipped out of her kayak and into the lake, seemingly unfazed by the depth or the potential dangers lurking beneath the surface. But then, in a moment that defied explanation, Blazek recounted a scene that sent shivers down everyone's spine. She claims Nancy, a skilled swimmer, suddenly vanished beneath the water's surface. Blazek described frantically searching the area, calling out Nancy's name, but there was no response, no sign of a struggle, just an unsettling silence that hung heavy in the air. It was later stated that the group advanced approximately 2 kilometers deeper into the lake, where Nancy decided to swim, and that is when she disappeared. However, Ink's family refuses to believe that simple explanation, mostly because of the delayed response from the group. It took more than 24 hours for her disappearance to be reported, with others still not telling what they know. When Blazek reached the shore, panic erupted within the retreat group. Witnesses reported seeing Blazek visibly shaken and upset. She was reportedly escorted by others from the retreat to help her calm down. The most unsettling detail, however, was the retreat group's swift departure from Guatemala. Within 8 to 12 hours of Nancy's disappearance, the entire group had left the country. This hasty exit raised suspicion, particularly for the Ink family who were desperately searching for answers. The hotel manager only reported Nancy's disappearance to local authorities on October 20th, after initial attempts by staff to find Ink were unsuccessful. This delay in raising the alarm is baffling and raises serious questions about the group's actions and possible knowledge of what transpired. Back in California, Nikki Ink, Nancy's sister, received a call that would shatter her world. Learning of her sister's disappearance sparked a frantic search for answers. The Ink family immediately hired a search and rescue company to scour the vast lake for any sign of Nancy. However, their efforts were hampered by the lack of information from the retreat group, particularly from Blazek and retreat organizer Rimada. The family's frustration mounted when they learned that Blazek had not stayed behind to assist with the search, making it difficult to pinpoint the exact location where Nancy might have gone missing. A desperate search effort unfolded on Lake Atitlán in the days following Nancy's disappearance. Local authorities, aided by search and rescue teams and possibly even volunteers from the retreat center, scoured the vast expanse of water. Boats crisscrossed the lake, their sonar equipment scanning the depths for any sign of Nancy. Divers plunged into the cool, murky water, their visibility hampered by the lake's natural sediment. The serene beauty of Lake Atitlán, once a place of tranquility, was now a scene of frantic activity and mounting despair. The search proved to be a monumental challenge. Lake Atitlán, formed by a volcanic crater, is known for its incredible depth and unpredictable currents. Hopes dwindled with each passing day as the search yielded no results. The vastness of the lake and the limitations of search technology made the task increasingly different. Days bled into weeks, with no sign of Nancy being recovered. In the absence of concrete evidence, whispers and theories began to swirl. Blazek, being the last person seen with Nancy, became a focal point of suspicion. Online forums and social media platforms buzzed with speculation. Some questioned the plausibility of Blazek's story, pointing out the suddenness of Nancy's disappearance and the lack of struggle. Others, fueled by a desire for answers, went even further, venturing into the realm of foul play. Was Nancy's disappearance an accident, a tragic twist of fate, or something more sinister? The Inc. family's frustration with Blazek's silence grew with each passing day. Nikki Inc. expressed her bewilderment. "What do you mean she disappeared? What happened? Did the other students see anything? Nancy can swim. How did this happen?" Their unanswered questions fueled suspicion. Why did Blazek leave Guatemala so quickly without assisting in the search efforts? Why hadn't she spoken to the authorities before departing? These questions gnawed at the Inc. family, making it difficult to believe Blazek's story entirely. To give you a clear picture, here's a timeline of the events leading up to Nancy's disappearance and the aftermath. October 14th. Nancy arrives in Guatemala for the yoga retreat. October 19th. Morning. The group sets out for a kayaking excursion on Lake Atitlán. Mid-morning. Concerns arise over the lack of safety instructions and life jackets. Late morning. Blazek encounters Nancy in the middle of the lake and warns her against swimming. Nancy ignores the warning and enters the water. Shortly after, Nancy disappears underwater. Blazek rushes back to shore to alert the group. Later that day, the retreat group leaves Guatemala within a short time frame. October 20th. The Inc. family receives the devastating news of Nancy's disappearance. The first air search for Nancy is conducted. October 21st. The Inc. family attempts to contact Blazek but receives no response. October 25th. Still without a response from Blazek, the Inc. family reaches out again. October 31st. Growing desperate, the Inc. family attempts to contact Blazek a second time, pleading for any information she might have. November 13th. Frustrated by the lack of cooperation from Blazek, the search and recovery company leading the search releases a press release naming Blazek and Ramada as persons of interest in the case. Nearly a month after Nancy's disappearance, Blazek's attorney, Christopher Gardner, finally addressed the media. He vehemently denied any wrongdoing on his client's behalf. Gardner maintained that Blazek had cooperated with Guatemalan authorities and provided them with a statement about the events leading up to Nancy's disappearance. He further stated that Blazek was traumatized by the incident and left Guatemala early due to civil unrest in the country. Gardner also dismissed the accusations of a bribe being paid to silence Blazek, calling them nonsense. However, the Inc. family remained unconvinced. Nikki Inc. revealed they had obtained a complete copy of the case file from Guatemalan authorities through an attorney they hired in Guatemala. Shockingly, the file contained no record of Blazek's statement contradicting Gardner's claims. This discrepancy fueled doubts further. The Inc. family questioned why Blazek wouldn't speak to them directly, especially considering the desperate search for their sister. Nikki Inc. lamented, "The only way we can get answers is through public pressure." Meanwhile, the search for Nancy continued, albeit with limited success. Chris Sharp, who led the search efforts on behalf of Black Wolf Helicopters, a search and recovery company, expressed his frustration with the lack of cooperation from Blazek and other retreat participants. He argued that even basic details about the location of Nancy's disappearance could have significantly narrowed the search area. Sharp pointed out that Lake Atitlán was vast, and without a more precise starting point, the search was akin to finding a needle in a haystack. In a bid to garner more information, Sharp released a controversial press release naming Blazek and Ramada as persons of interest. This move was met with mixed reactions. Some saw it as a necessary step to pressure them into cooperating with the investigation. Others criticized it as a potentially damaging public shaming tactic. Sharp defended his actions, stating it was an appeal for witnesses and a desperate attempt to get any additional details that could aid the search. He believed that even the vaguest recollection from Blazek about their location on the lake could have been invaluable in directing the search efforts. Despite the setbacks and frustration, the Inc. family remained resolute in their search for Nancy. Nikki Inc. stated, "There's a lot of risk for us flying there, but Blazek is not helping." Their unwavering determination led them to plan a return trip to Guatemala to utilize an underwater drone in a more methodical search of the lake. However, a glimmer of hope emerged amidst the darkness. An American non-profit organization offered to deploy a cadaver dog, known for its success in detecting underwater human remains, to assist with the search. This potential breakthrough offered a renewed sense of hope for the Inc. family. Every additional resource brought them closer to the possibility of finding Nancy and finally bringing her home. The spotlight also fell on Eduardo Ramada, the organizer of the Be the Change retreat. Questions arose about his responsibility for ensuring the safety of participants, particularly during potentially risky activities like kayaking without life jackets. Furthermore, his abrupt departure from Guatemala with the entire retreat group after Nancy's disappearance raised suspicion. Determined to find answers, the Inc. family hired a private investigator. Through their investigation, a new lead emerged. A local fisherman who had witnessed the retreat group on the day of the incident came forward with a crucial piece of information. The fisherman claimed to have seen the retreat group acting strangely after returning from their kayaking trip. He reported seeing them huddled together, seemingly agitated, and then loading their belongings into a van with uncharacteristic haste. This testimony directly contradicted the retreat group's claim of a peaceful departure. It all raises critical questions about safety protocols within the yoga retreat industry, particularly for excursions conducted in remote locations. Are there sufficient safety measures in place, especially for activities like kayaking? Do retreat organizers adequately brief participants on potential risks and emergency procedures? These are crucial considerations that need to be addressed to ensure the safety and well-being of those seeking rejuvenation and peace through yoga retreats. As the search for Nancy intensified, another crucial aspect of the case came under scrutiny. The role of Kayak Guatemala, the company that rented the kayaks and paddleboards to the retreat group. According to retreat participants, including the anonymous participant who spoke out, Kayak Guatemala failed to provide any safety equipment or instructions. This claim directly contradicted the statements made by the company's owners, Lee and Elaine Beale. The Beales maintained they offered life jackets to the group, but everyone declined. This conflicting information created confusion and raised serious concerns about the company's safety protocols. The anonymous participant recounted their experience vividly. They expressed feeling uneasy from the outset due to the lack of life jackets and safety instructions. Their attempt to voice their concerns to the kayak company employees seemed to fall on deaf ears. They described the initial calmness of the lake giving way to choppy waters and a sense of unease as they ventured further out. The last clear memory they had of Nancy was seeing her confidently paddling her kayak, seemingly captivated by the view. Blazek's attorney, Christopher Gardner, also claimed his client was unaware of any safety concerns raised by the shop or any specific instructions provided. He further stated that Blazek mentioned there were no life jackets present and that she hadn't seen the owners on the day of the incident. These conflicting accounts painted a confusing picture. The Inc. family, already grappling with immense grief, grew increasingly frustrated. Nikki Inc. expressed her disbelief. To so boldly claim that our workers offered life jackets and the group declined, I don't know what to make of that considering other participants have told me otherwise. The Inc. family's investigation revealed additional discrepancies in the Beals' statements. A police report contradicted Lee Beals' claim of being out of the country during the incident. Similarly, Elaine Beals' statement about witnessing Blazek return and not offering any information was challenged by the fact that she wasn't even present at the shop that day. The Inc. family, along with some retreat participants, believed that Kayak Guatemala failed to prioritize safety measures, potentially contributing to the tragedy. Nikki Inc. highlighted the importance of holding the company accountable. Please be honest with yourselves about the lack of responsibility taken because someone lost their life. Meanwhile, the search efforts continued with the arrival of the cadaver dog from the American non-profit organization. This specialized canine unit, trained to detect human remains underwater, offered a renewed sense of hope. The Inc. family, along with search and recovery specialists, planned a meticulous grid search of the lake using the dog's expertise. However, time was a crucial factor. The search team understood the urgency and geared up for a meticulous underwater search, hoping to bring closure to the Inc. family. Despite the ongoing search efforts, a significant obstacle remained: Blazek's continued silence. The Inc. family believed even the most minor details she could provide about their location on the lake could be crucial in guiding the search efforts. Nikki Inc. expressed her frustration. Little details can go a long way for the search team, and with what little information we have, we're really grasping at straws here. Blazek's attorney, however, maintained she had no new information to share. This lack of cooperation continued to cast a shadow over the investigation, leaving unanswered questions and hindering the search for Nancy. The setback in the search intensified the pressure on all parties involved. Frustration with Blazek's continued silence reached a boiling point. The Inc. family, through their attorney, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Kayak Guatemala, holding them accountable for the lack of safety measures during the kayaking trip. Blazek's attorney, Christopher Gardner, vehemently denied the lawsuit's accusations. He maintained that Blazek wasn't responsible for Nancy's disappearance and that all safety protocols were followed by Kayak Guatemala. This statement further enraged the Inc. family and the online community following the case. The media frenzy surrounding the case intensified. News outlets across the globe picked up the story, highlighting the unanswered questions, the lack of cooperation from Blazek, and the ongoing search efforts. Social media became a platform for outrage and speculation, with many users expressing their support for the Inc. family and demanding answers. The fisherman's testimony offered a glimmer of hope, suggesting a possible cover-up and potentially more information within the retreat group. The Inc. family, fueled by this new lead, continued their pursuit of the truth. However, the emotional toll of their ordeal remained immense. The relentless search, coupled with Blazek's silence and the unanswered questions, left them grappling with an agonizing mixture of hope and heartache. Nancy Inc.'s disappearance has left a lasting impact. The serene beauty of Lake Atitlán is now forever intertwined with a sense of unease. The yoga retreat industry, once seen as a haven of peace and rejuvenation, now grapples with the need for increased safety measures. Nancy's family, understandably distraught and filled with unanswered questions, believes foul play may be involved. They ask the public for information that could shed light on Nancy's disappearance. A GoFundMe page was also set up to help fund a private search effort. As the search for Nancy continues, the mystery surrounding her disappearance deepens. Will Blazek finally come forward with more information? These are the questions that continue to haunt the Inc. family and all those seeking answers in this tragic case. Perhaps there are viewers who possess relevant information, even seemingly insignificant details that could be crucial to the investigation. If you do, please share the video or contact the authorities.